Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging through the files on some high-profile product marketing. We're going to unpack the claims versus the facts on a very public luxury line.
We are indeed. We're focusing on a line of watches licensed under Donald Trump's name. And the price range is just massive. You're looking at everything from around $500 up to the flagship, which is the $100,000 Victory Tour Dion.
Right, so our mission here is really to analyze the source material we have, focusing squarely on consumer transparency and the business structure behind it all.
Exactly. But before we get into any of that, we have to state very clearly, this is educational commentary and not medical advice.
Okay, let's unpack that business structure first. The watches are sold by a company called The Best Watches on Earth, LLC.
And they operate under a licensing agreement. This is key. The seller's own website has a disclaimer, making it clear that Trump himself doesn't design, manufacture, or sell these watches.
So that licensing agreement creates a separation right away. Brand face over here and liability over there.
Precisely. And what's fascinating is where the LLC is actually registered. Reports have traced it to a single address in a Wyoming strip mall, an address it reportedly shares with a daycare center.
A strip mall? Now, hold on. Isn't using an anonymous corporate address just, a standard practice for tax purposes in the luxury world?
It can be, but this seems to be about more than that. The sources are concerned because Wyoming laws allow for an incredibly high level of corporate anonymity. It really obscures who the actual owners are. The structure seems built for opacity, not transparency.
So with the legal side being so opaque, let's turn to the product you can actually see. The Victory Tourbillon, $100,000. It claims to have 200 grams of gold and 122 diamonds. And it has a tourbillon. That's a seriously complex mechanism meant to improve accuracy.
It is a high-end complication, absolutely. But when watch experts actually broke down the numbers, the valuation was dramatically different.
How different are we talking?
Reports estimate the total material value, so the gold, the diamonds, the movement itself, at only around $20,000.
$20,000 for a watch selling at $100,000. That is a massive disparity. But don't all luxury items have a huge premium for the brand name? Isn't that normal?
It is, but the ratio here is pretty extreme. The sources compare it to, say, a solid gold Rolex Submariner. That's an established luxury piece known for its craftsmanship, and it might retail for around $40,000. The markup with established brands usually reflects decades of proven quality, which, raises questions here.
It also raises questions about where these are actually made. The website claims Swiss-made precision. What did the analysis find on that?
Well, industry experts pointed out some specific construction details. On the tourbillon, they noted the use of blue screws.
And that's a red flag.
It's not definitive proof, but it is a feature that often suggests assembly or manufacturing outside of traditional Swiss watchmaking centers. And for the cheaper $500 models, the reports say they use movements you typically find in budget watches, not luxury ones.
Okay, so if the product claims are a bit shaky, what about the actual consumer experience?
That seems even rougher. The company has a very strict policy. All sales are final, no refunds.
And they're not liable for shipping delays either, right?
Huh.
I saw some customers were waiting from February all the way to July.
That's right. And if you look at the quality control, things get, worse. On Trustpilot, 57% of the reviews gave the company just 1 star.
What were the main complaints?
People reported the gold plating flaking off really quickly, watches that just couldn't keep accurate time, and unbelievably misspellings.
Misspellings?
Yeah.
On the watch itself?
Yes. One report specifically mentioned a watch face that read rump instead of Trump.
Wait, on a 6-figure watch? That's not just a pricing critique anymore. That's a fundamental quality control failure. And the company's response to all this?
Reports indicate that negative reviews were just broadly dismissed as fake news.
Wow, okay.
So I think the key takeaway here for you, the listener, is just how important it is to analyze that price-to-value proposition and to really understand the accountability structure or maybe the lack of one of the company you're buying from.
So here's the final thought to mull over. When you're buying something based on a big brand name or what seems like luxury, how much of your money is actually paying for material value? And how much is just covering the cost of that brand license? And a corporate structure that's designed to have as little responsibility as possible.